Sairam students, in this session we will be doing verbs activity which is there in your grammar workbook. I'm sure students by now all of you have got your grammar workbook. So quickly take out your workbook and be ready to write verbs activities starting from page number 1, that is transitive and intransitive verbs, finite and non-finite verbs, types of non-finite verbs, that is infinitives, participles and gerunds. Now in this session we will be doing activities based on transitive and intransitive verbs and finite and non-finite verbs, and rest we will be doing in our next session. Now before we start writing, let us quickly revise what is verbs. A verb is a word that tells something about a person or a thing. It is the most important word in a sentence. The verb denotes an action or predicates a fact. For example, we came by bus. It's an action. Ramu is a thief. It's a fact. Alright. Now let us quickly revise transitive and intransitive verb. A transitive verb is a verb that speaks of an action and which passes from the doer, that is subject, to the receiver, that is object. A transitive verb requires an object. For example, the boy kicks the football. Now here, the verb is kick. It describes what the boy, that is subject, does. When we ask question, the boy kicks what? We get the answer, the football. Now, we know that the football is the object of the verb kicks and the action of the verb passes to the object. So, we can say that the verb kicks is transitive verb. Alright? Now, let us revise intransitive verb. An intransitive verb is a verb that speaks of an action which does not pass on to an object. For example, the girl runs fast. Now in this sentence, the verb runs has no object. The verb following runs is fast, which is an adverb. There is no answer to the question, runs what? Therefore, a verb that has no object is called an intransitive verb. Now, let us solve transitive and intransitive verbs activity in page number 3. Underline the verbs and write whether they are used transitively or intransitively in the following sentences. Now, the first sentence is, cocks crow in the morning. Now here, crow is the verb. So underline that. Then ask question. Crows what? Are we getting the answer? No, there is no answer. Hence, it is an intransitive sentence. So students, just beside the sentence, you will write intransitive verb. Alright, now let's move towards the next sentence. Time changes all thing. Now here, the verb is changes. So underline that. Now ask question. Changes what? And we get the answer, all thing. So this sentence is transitive verb. Keep on writing, students. Alright, now let's move ahead. He laughed loudly. Now here, laughed is verb. So underline that. Now ask question. Laughed what? Are we getting the answer? No. The word followed by the verb is an adverb. That is, loudly is an adverb. Hence, it is an intransitive verb. Alright? Then, the next sentence. He took shelter under a tree. Now here, took is the verb. So, underline that. Now, ask question. Took what? Yes, we are getting the answer. Shelter under a tree. Right. So, it is an transitive verb. Now, the next is, I know a funny little man. Now, here, the verb is know. Now, ask question. Know what? Yes, we are getting the answer. A funny little man. So, it is an transitive verb. Now, let's move ahead. The gunshot killed the man. Now, here the verb is killed. So, underline that. Now, ask question. Killed what? The man. Right, we are getting the answer. So, it is a transitive verb. Now, the next is the pilot flew the plane. Now, here the verb is flew. Ask question. Flew what? And we are getting the answer. The plane. So, this is an transitive verb. Then, the next is the moon shines dimly. Now, here the verb is shines. Now, ask question. Shines what? Are you getting the answer? No. And the word followed by the verb is dimly, which is an adverb. Right? So, it is an intransitive verb. Alright? Now, let's move ahead. The team scored well. Now, here the verb is scored. Ask question. Scored what? Are we getting the answer? No. So, it is an intransitive verb. Alright? Then, the boy easily lifted the heavy weight. Now, here, lifted is a verb. So, underline that. Then, ask question. Lifted what? And we are getting the answer. The heavy weight. Right? So, it is a transitive verb. Alright? Now, let's move towards the next exercise. Write 5 sentences containing transitive verbs and 5 sentences containing intransitive verbs. Now, this exercise is in page number 3. Now, the 5 transitive verb sentences are: the boys fly kites. Then, the next is, he runs a hotel. Then, the third one is, Mr. Modi opens the shop at 8. Then, the mouse stole food. Now, the fifth one is, the ox drew the cart. Now, students, if you wish, you can write your own transitive verb sentences, provided it should be correct. Alright? Now, let's move towards an intransitive verb sentences. He runs fast. Then, the next one is, school opens at 9 o'clock. Then the next one is, he writes legibly. Then, the dog ran. Then the fifth one is, a light was shining. Alright, students. Now, let us move towards the next activity. That is, Pick out the verb, the direct object and indirect object in the following sentences. Now, this exercise is in page number 4. Now, here the sentences are given. You need to find out the verb, the direct object and the indirect object, and you need to write in the given table in your workbook. Now let's look at the first sentence. Sheila bought the baby a doll. Now here the verb is bought. Then ask question. Bought what? And we get the answer, a doll. So a doll is direct object. Then ask another question. For whom? And we get the answer, the baby. So the baby is indirect object. Alright, now you need to write something like this, that is in the given table provided in your grammar workbook. Alright, now let's look at the next sentence. Hema told me a secret. Now here told is a verb, right? Then a secret is direct object and the indirect object is me. Now let's move ahead. Sita wrote her a letter. Now here wrote is verb. Then ask question. Wrote what? A letter. So a letter is direct object. Then the indirect object is her. That is for whom? Ask question, for whom? And we get the answer, her. So her is indirect object. Now, alright, so you will write something like this. Then, now let's move towards the fourth sentence. Sudha offered her maid some food. Now here, offered is verb. Then some food is direct object and indirect object is her maid. Now the fifth sentence is, he gave me a pen. Now here gave is verb. Then ask question, gave what? A pen. So a pen is direct object. For whom? Me. So me will be indirect object. Alright. So you will write in the given column. Keep on writing, students. Then the next one. Saroja bought her some clothes. Now here the verb is bought. Then the direct object is some clothes and the indirect object is her. Then the next one is Sunita teaches me English. Now here the verb is teaches. Now ask question, teaches what? English. So English is direct object. Then ask question, for whom? Me. So me is indirect object. Alright. Then let's move ahead. Can you tell me the way to the mall? Now here tell is the verb, the direct object is the way and the indirect object is me. Alright, students. Now let us move towards finite and non-finite verbs. Now before we start with its activity, let us quickly revise what is finite and non-finite verbs. Now, finite verbs. A finite verb is a verb that changes its form according to number, person and tense. Most finite verbs form their past tense form by adding the letter D or ED or the letter T at the end. In simple present tense, finite verbs have an letter S at the end when the subject is singular. Now let us quickly understand what is non-finite verbs. Verbs that are not limited by tense, person or number are called non-finite verbs. As they are not governed by a subject, they do not change their form with person, number or tense. Students, non-finite verb often comes after the finite verb in a sentence. Sometimes they come at the beginning of the sentence also. Remember students, a sentence cannot be formed with only a non-finite verb. Now let's solve this activity which is in page number 7. Pick out the finite and non-finite verbs in the following sentences and write them in the table provided. Now the first sentence is, Wimla always tries to find fault with others. Now here the finite verb is tries and the non-finite verb is to find. The next sentence, I saw him stealing a ring. Now in this sentence, the finite verb is saw and the non-finite verb is stealing. Then the next one is, Bobby ran fast to catch the bus. Here the finite verb is ran and the non-finite verb is to catch. Then the next one is, I am very glad to see you. Now in this sentence the finite verb is am and the non-finite verb is to see. Then the next is, walking is good for health. Now in this sentence the finite verb is and the non-finite verb is walking. Now the next sentence is, we enjoy playing games. Here enjoy is finite verb and playing is non-finite verb. Then the next is, stop writing at once. Now in this case stop is finite verb and writing is non-finite verb. Then the next one is, not fit to drink. Now in this 8th sentence there is no finite verb but there is a non-finite verb, that is to drink. Then to err is human. In this case is finite verb and non-finite verb is to err. Then the last sentence is, hearing the noise the child woke up. Here the finite verb is woke and non-finite verb is hearing. Now students, I will stop here and we will continue with this verbs activity in our next session. Alright students, do you all remember this project? Yes, which was given in the month of May? Yes, I am reminding you this as you all need to submit your project. Yes, I will let you know the date in the end of this session. Now let us quickly go through this project topics. The project is for 10 marks and it is divided into 2 main topics which is 5 marks each. Now the first topic is Ruskin bond, in which you need to write a biography for the author Ruskin Bond in 200 to 250 words. Then the next is you need to stick any picture of Ruskin Bond from any old book or newspaper or from any magazine. Then is award and achievements. You need to list his awards like Padma Shri, Padma Bhushan and so on. And you also need to mention its reason and the year in which he had received that particular award. Then the next subtopic is collection. You need to write at least 10 to 15 names of books which Ruskin Bond had written. Along with that, you also need to mention whether it is a novel or a fictional or non-fictional story and so on. That is, you need to provide some information on that book, right? Then the next is literary style, where you need to describe the way the author uses words, sentence structure, figurative language and the sentence arrangement while he writes. Then in the next subtopic, that is filmography, You need to inform about Ruskin Bond's involvement in Bollywood films. And then, finally, you need to summarize his work. Now, the next main topic is book review, which is again 5 marks, and you need to write in 100 words. A book review is where a book is analyzed based on content, style, and merit. Books can be reviewed from printed materials, magazines, newspapers, or any book, website, on the internet, etc. Any topic you can take on fiction or non-fiction work or any as per your desire. Then, the steps for how to write a book review. You need to begin with a brief summary of the book. Then, pick out the most important aspects of the book. Then, you can include brief quotes. Then, write a conclusion that summarizes everything. Then, find similar books. For example, you can name some books which have similar formats. Then the last is you have to give a star rating to the book which you have reviewed according to your desire. Students, as I said earlier, you need to write your project in a presentable way on any assignment sheet or A4 size paper or any foolscape paper. Now, you need to submit your project by 21st of August. Earlier it was said to submit after the school reopened, but now you need to convert your prepared project into a PDF file and you need to submit. And where to send, we will let you know shortly in the next video. Alright students, Sai Ram and take care.